Hello everyone, this is the plum blossom at the back of my garden, but I'm really here to show you the nesting material I put out for the small birds. I'll just go underneath, and there it is. I put it out in, I believe, April 2 years ago, and no birds came to get it, and I put it out in February last year and they didn't come till March, and this year I put it out in the beginning of March and they didn't touch it until about a week ago, and they've gone absolutely berserk, and I've been filling it up twice a day ever since, and now it's starting to ease up and they're only taking maybe about a couple of days before they empty it, and soon they'll stop taking the material. This is just a whisk that you can get for £1 or £2 from Tesco's or Poundland or Wilko. And the stuff in it is a mixture of cat fur, dog fur, fox fur and cuttings from horsehair, which I collect through the year. And then moving down from the blossom of the Victoria plum, if I come downwards onto the ground, I had put a great big pile of straw, bits of dried grass there, because I noticed that the magpies and the crows were picking it up from the ground for their nests, and most of it has gone now. And while we're here, I'll just come upwards and show you my rather tall Taunton Dean perennial kale, which I'm trying to take cuttings from this year because I think it's about 5 years old, and I know the perennial bit only means about 5 years, give or take. Before I show you what's going on in the allotment, I'd just like to show you another acquisition I found in someone's front garden when I was doing my little very short Sunday morning run, and it's this lovely alkathene. Now this is almost a whole one, if not a whole one. I know a whole hoop band costs about £32 in B&Q, so I've got another half one here as well, so I'm really pleased. I always feel embarrassed asking, but one of the people I asked in the past said, one of the workers said, well, it's fine, because if you don't ask you don't get, and so I'll just harden up my skin and smile sweetly and ask for things. And of course I spent some more money on plants, and these little plants are short, about 9 to 12 inches high, sort of alpines that don't need to be in a greenhouse, and I've been putting some between paving stones, and I'll show you now what they're like on the allotment, and then I'll show you the wildlife garden that I'm trying to make, and then some veggies. Now we come back to the tayberry plot, and I can't see too much because I'm going against the sun. It's either that or you have my shadow against the plants. And these are the plants I planted in between, and I've left the labels there because I can't remember them. So there is Archer's Gold, which is a lovely little creeping thyme, Purpureum, Sedum purpureum, Saxifraga, Grace Farwell, then a compact marjoram and a creeping red thyme, and over there is another little plantlet that I think is a tayberry. It might not be. And then a few of the little seedlings of plants and flowers are coming up, which I'm quite pleased with. With blackberries and the blackberry hybrids, once their tips touch the ground, they send down shoots and roots, and it's very easy to get new plants from them. And with all the mess that was here, it was very easy to get several of these plants. So I've got a few at home, and I'm hoping that I can get some more plants from them. This bed is next to the tayberry bed, and now it's turned to be done up. At the back is some asparagus that was planted by the previous renter of this plot, and I'm so grateful to him because I've got some, well, last spring, the spring before, I got some really good asparagus from there. Here I've planted a rhubarb plant called Champagne, which I grew from seed 2 years ago. It was over there and last spring I moved it because its leaves were coming into a path and it sulked. It didn't do too well, but it's doing very well now, so I hope to get some rhubarb from that soon. What I'm going to do is to make this into a wildlife sort of patch, and for that I'm going to put a wildlife pond, effects, and that I'll sink into the ground and hopefully fill with water, and some of the rhubarb leaves can shade it a bit for the frogs and toads, which we've got plenty of them here, but I didn't see them last summer in the heat. And here's the wildlife plot. There's a champagne rhubarb, and here is a little phacelia plant which is often used as overwintering green manure and is dug in. I like using it because the bees love the flowers, and it's also called, I think, the scorpion plant or scorpion flower. Here we also have chives, which I bought for about £1.25 and split into 3. and that's a very good way of saving a bit of money, and the bees just love their flowers as well. And there is oregano, which will grow quite tall and quite lax, so that needs to be tied up loosely. And again, the gatekeeper butterfly loves those, and so do some other butterflies. And I've got a mixture of wood around the edge and a piece of wood coming out of the basin so that creatures can climb up. This is the end of March, and the water doesn't get turned on till April, and then I'll fill this up and level out the basin. Well, here you can see the whole of plot 1 in full, and at the back you can see the tayberry patch, and there'll be the wildlife patch. Let's start first with the garlic, which is doing okay. It's doing quite well, but then it's got, if you can see, this leaf, and I don't know what's causing that. Maybe I've overfed it, or it's lacking some nutrient or the other. I've no idea. But other than that, I'm reasonably pleased with it. I'm slightly worried in case it gets rust, because the garlic on the other plot has got rust, but then it was next door to rusted leeks, so it's hardly surprising. And these little strawberries seem to be doing quite well. There's Frau Mietzer Schindler, which I've mentioned before, which isn't a strong plant, needs cross-pollination with another variety of strawberry. I'm not sure I've got the right one, but something is cross-pollinating it, because I ate about 2 last year. And although they're not prolific, they have got the most beautiful flavour. And again, here is the whole of the strawberry patch. And the best ones I've had so far are marshmallow, which I've got 9 of them there. But I've also got a few others. I've got Malwina, and I've got Gariguette, which is an early French. And I'll be putting an anti-bird netting on this shortly. And here's the winter vegetables, the winter cabbage that I grew too late, but I'm going to eat those as well. I've been eating and giving away these lettuces, and I'm so pleased with them. And we come back to the last bit. This is a mess, and I'm going to leave that till next winter, though I'm going to clear it out. I'm not sure if I'm going to put a little shed there, or it might shade the asparagus, or what I'm going to do. And here is a rhubarb that someone said they put here from her patch, and she thinks it's something like Old Grandad. It's a very old rhubarb. I'm not even sure if that's a variety. And then again, back onto the wildlife plot and the tayberry plot. And there it is. And here is a whole of plot 2, and we come to the front of it, and there's a lovely patch of daffodils called White Lion, which are going over now and breaking off, but they're such a beautiful flower, and they've come up for a couple of years now. And then this is the overwintering onion radar, which I've now taken the covers off, and they seem to be surviving okay. I've started to put down the paving on a temporary basis. I've got to dig some weeds out and to level the soil. And here are the main onions, which I put a covering over just to protect them, gives them a chance. Then I come round to the side going down, and again some more onions, again with a protecting net over it. Some people don't see the need for it. I find it helps. And then the beans, the broad beans, doing really well. In the middle is where I last year put dahlias. I really overplanted last year. I've just put a few forget-me-nots there for the bees, and that covering will come off as well. Last year I had dahlias and cucumbers and ichi, I've forgotten the name of it anyway, little winter squashes, and I really did put so much into it. This year I'll have to put far less. As we come to the back of the plot, I've got some tubs of potatoes and 2 tubs eventually, but I'm going to try growing carrots, which I've never been successful. As you can see, there's not a lot of room here. And here, this is my way of growing tomatoes, which I cut out the bottoms of these pots. And in the front I will have 2 courgettes and 1 Tiger Cross marrow. Last year I grew 2 Tiger Cross marrows, and I got 19 marrows, which I didn't know what to do with. And here finally is the garlic that's got a bit of rust, which I've been pulling off and hopefully it might survive. Final side is the row of raspberries, and this is Morning Admiral, which is actually, it's looking a bit yellow on its leaves, and maybe some Epsom salts or something like that might help. I'm sure someone can advise me. And I should get a few raspberries, not too many, and then the last of the spring onions. That's just white Lisbon. It wasn't anything special, no special winter type of onion. And then to the four raspberries that I was worried about that they didn't live. And if you can see, if I go really close, there is a little shoot, and they're coming up on all 4 of them. So I'm really pleased with that. And that takes us right back to the front, to the forget-me-nots, back to the daffodils, and to see the whole plot too. I'd just like to finish on this Brunera plant, which as the flowers go down, the leaves will get bigger and silvery, and it really is very beautiful. And at the back there's the Hakanakloa golden grass. And just to say, if anyone's interested in helping hedgehogs, then there is Hedgehog Street on the internet. You can find out more about them. I hope to see you soon. Take care, everyone.